not to brag, but I would consider myself part of the upper class, to be honest.
In my opinion, I think that I belong to the middle class.
Maybe us categorized in T20.
In 1965, we were worried that race, language, or religion would be our greatest fault lines. In 2018, it's class.
How extensive is this class divide?
Well, what we're seeing here is that if you compare between race, religion, sexual orientation, nationality, and class matters.
Yeah, I'm quite aware that social class has been part of the stigma when it comes to stereotypes.
Yes, I do know that there are stereotypes based on social class. I do. I have a friend in school which belongs to the upper class, and he was always mistaken as someone who did not care much about his academics because he was born in a very wealthy family. But in fact, he is a really hardworking person, and maybe even more hardworking than those who did not have advantages on their background.
I wouldn't really call it a major issue, but like myself as a student, I believe that some people can relate to this, is that when us from this class of family, when we achieve something, they wouldn't call it our effort, because they feel like everything that we achieve in terms of success of result, or anything that we achieve, they would consider it as silver spoon. Meaning, it's like people are helping us from the back when it is actually just our own effort. So basically saying our efforts are not appreciated or seen by others. I would consider as like one of the major issues, especially as a student. Yeah, there is actually a general take, I would say, a famous take on rich people or the upper class family being wasteful. But then, if you take a step back and look at it from a closer perspective, an upper class family will be seen wasteful from a middle class family, and the middle class family will be seen being wasteful from the lower class family. So what I'm trying to say here is that if we want to pinpoint fingers playing this gutsy game of making assumptions that they are being wasteful, it will be endless, because there will be a people down the hierarchy will see the upper class or the class above them as being wasteful. So it's not just upper class. So what I'm trying to say here is that instead of us making assumptions towards people who have more resources than us, that is not using it as much as we appreciate it, we are not perfect. We are not under control of everything. There will be a moment where we will actually waste our resources. So instead of making this assumption and generalizing this stereotype, why don't you just talk to them? Or like me, because I know this might sound quite deep, but like just approach us and tell us that maybe you can take another approach using these resources, for example, using this money, right? So there will be a more harmonic discussion. Thus, this stereotype of wasteful won't be heard anymore. That is just my opinion, I believe.
In my opinion, I don't really think that upper class people are more wasteful. The reason I say this is because I have quite a lot of friends around me which are born in a wealthy family, but they are also very wise on spending and being really friendly to their friends.
If the item is cheap, it will not exist the social classes under B40, M40, T20. But the cost of living should also be reduced. We sincerely hope that our new Yang Berhormat Prime Minister our leadership will be able to change the fate of the people, the fate of us, all of us.
I see. Now, I mean, take a look at this. Has stereotype ever brings any meaningful or like positive feedback towards that type of people? So when it comes to stereotype of like generalizing a group of people in terms of their race, their background, or in this case, socioeconomic, it won't be as accurate as it might seem if we were to talk about towards like individual scale, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that I feel like stereotyping should not be done at all, right? It might give a general idea of what this group of people might do, but I feel like it won't represent individually. It won't represent them, and it won't serve them well. So it's better to just know them personally. Yeah, I totally agree that with all these stereotypes roaming around, connection between different class of people, it won't happen naturally. Now, what do I mean by that is that let's say you already have a stereotype, an idea of a group of people in your head, and then you meet one of them, right? So before you even approach them, you are already framing this person as the person that people talk about. But then it could be that person is better than what people say, right? So basically, you are already closing the door of what could be a mutual connection. Or in other words, action speaks louder than words, right? So it's better to just trust the process of talking with that person personally rather than just listening to people.
I think that stereotype will have a very big impact on how people connect between one another, because when a person have a stereotype, he might have a bad impression on someone who he never even recognized or knew before, just based on their background, and he might not even wanted to approach that person, but that does not mean that the person have a bad personality or is unfriendly towards others. I would say generous is the best word to describe the upper class. This is because mostly they have the best ability on money to provide help to those who need. I think that none of the word can really describe the whole lower class.
Be generous if I were to for what is it, upper class, right? For upper class, generous maybe. I mean, how can they not be generous? They have a lot of stuff, but it could be, I don't know. I honestly don't know, but generous maybe. For lower, I would go with sincere, because the other two words are lazy and low education. So there's no way that I'm going to pick like a negative traits. So sincere for lower. For upper class family.
Suitable or not, but maybe for upper class, and overall they are knowledgeable, and for lower class, they are very sincere of what they are doing for human being, for humankind. Thank you.
152 participants aged from 16 to 47, which includes adolescents, adults, and middle-aged participants, report 2,813 words of stereotypes about the rich and the poor. Generally, the rich has been seen as high competence, low sociability, and bad morality. The most common stereotype for the rich is that they are wise, hypocritical, and luxury, while the least common is that they are responsible, generous, and has integrity. While the poor has been seen as low competence, mid sociability, and good morality. Hardworking, warm, and kind-hearted are the stereotypes of the poor that are most common, whereas uncultured, sorrowful, and selfish are the stereotypes with the lowest occurrence. According to a study on the ways in which social class maintains inequality, adolescents have more knowledge of wealth than poverty, and they become aware of their own subjective social status. Thus, they hold more negative stereotype of poor than middle class and rich people. Next, we will watch a social experiment video that demonstrates how stereotypes eventually lead to discrimination.
Hey guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I do. What are you raising money for?
I'm actually trying to get a breast augmentation. I've been getting a lot of like hate comments and stuff on my Instagram, and it's just been making me super depressed. And my parents don't think that that's a good enough reason.
Yeah, I kind of agree with your parents. You have a beautiful body, you're a beautiful woman, but I'll donate anyway.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
so much. Do you want my Venmo?
Venmo, maybe a couple.
Okay, yeah, anything would be great. Okay.
I just moved here, so I don't have too much either, but I can give you a little bit.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. What's your Venmo?
Spare change? 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 Thank you so much. Spare change? Spare change?
Love the experiment. How did you feel as a homeless girl?
I felt super crappy because the entire time, like, I was dressed as a rich girl and I was standing in front of this Mercedes saying, like, holding a sign saying, I just need more money. People constantly were looking at me and staring at me and interacting with me, and I would ask them and they would actually talk back to me when I was like, spare change? But when I was homeless, nobody would give me eye contact. Like, people were afraid to look my direction for some reason just because of my clothes, like the way I was dressed and like the way I look. I honestly think that money doesn't determine human value. Every human life is valuable, and you can't diminish that just because somebody dresses a certain way or looks a certain way just because they don't look like you. Like, that's unfair.
So for this video, I'm dressed up as a poor homeless man.
And I'm dressed up as a rich man.
And we're going to pretend to suffocate in front of a crowded place.
Let's see if people care more about the homeless man or the rich man.
Help! Help!
Okay, man? Come on, that's a social experiment, man. You just took money from him, man. I just see you take money from him, bro. Come on.